Hi snooker fans, Curtis Braithwaite here for DafferSnooker.com. I'm with the spaceman himself, Dominic Dale, after his 4-0 victory over Chris Totten in the first round of the Welsh Open. But just before I tell Dominic well done, I'm going to zoom down to his shoes.
Oh yeah, got to get those in.
Look at the steppers he's wearing today. Bit of style, Dom, yeah?
Yeah, didn't they ever come back?
No, mate. Right, Dom, on to the match, pal. Well played yesterday, started off well with a break of 80, wrapped things up with a break of 74, I believe. So, decent performance yesterday, pal.
Yeah, you nearly got it right, Curtis. Started off in 84, finished off at 79.
1870.
See, as a player, you've got to know these things.
Correct.
Yeah, I played really, really well. I've got a queue that I've used for 5 days, so it went well. But I'm actually waiting for, I've got to say this, I'm actually waiting for a queue creator queue, who's the chap who makes Bingham's queue.
Ah, okay.
And I'm sort of duty bound to go to that, and that's going to hopefully arrive in the next sort of 10 days, so I'll be sorted again. But yeah, played very well. I think I had a pot success rate of 97%, which is a first for me, I think, and it's nice to be up there with the big boys in terms of the stats. I think I nailed him in 3 frames, so delighted with that performance, and yeah, day after day, I'll play again tomorrow.
Absolutely, pal. Well, Dominic, the thing with you, like I said, you've won a couple of ranking events, so we all know what a quality player you are. Do you know what I mean? You've been towards the top of the game for years now, and it's also good to see you back to form. How proud are you playing in front of your home crowd, mate? What's it feel for you being out there?
It's great, really. I mean, I used to live just outside Cardiff, a place called Penarth, and so I know Cardiff very well, and it changes all the time. It's a massive city, but it's great to be here. I've known this place for quite a long time. In fact, I used to go out with a lady from this place I used to work in the old days of the CIA before it's the motor point. But yeah, it's a great place. It's a great venue. And the tables play really well here, and they were lovely yesterday. So yeah, more of the same. I hope to perform as well again in my next match, and if I do, I don't see why I can't win a few matches in this event this year.
Absolutely, pal. You said it's a great city, Dominic. What actually goes on in Cardiff? Tell us a little bit about being somewhat of a homeboy, as we say. Tell us a bit about the city.
What I like about this place, I mean, you've got things like the Millennium Stadium, Cardiff Arms Park, and the railway station. They're all quite close together, and the whole city. Really, the hub of it, you've got all these shopping arcades. There's loads of shopping arcades in Cardiff, Royal Arcade and Queen's Arcade. There's loads of St David's, so many of them.
Good restaurants as well?
Oh, brilliant for restaurants, but they're all sort of condensed within a small area. You can walk around the whole place, and of course at the top of the high street there, you've got the Cardiff Castle. It's a brilliant place to visit. It's the interior is all designed by William Burgess, and it's absolutely full of fantastic colours and designs. It's well worth a visit. I've been there a few times having tours. It's fantastic. I strongly recommend it. And it's a great place. It's well deserved as the capital city of Wales, definitely.
Absolutely, pal. It's been a bit of a mixed bag for you Welsh boys. Obviously, Jackson Page had an excellent victory yesterday. Yourself as well. Bit of a surprise one for Ryan. Yeah, beat by Kurt Dunham. So a bit of a mixed bag this week so far, isn't it?
A little bit. I mean, Ryan, I think his performance was dictated by the fact that he had a brand new cue that he literally only had about 3 hours before he played, and had half an hour with it, just liked it. I thought, because you don't get many gaps in the season now to change cues, so he just probably looked at the draw, thought, well, I've beaten Kurt 5-0 earlier in the season, he thought to himself, and if I'm going to take the risk, now might be the time. It didn't come off. Kurt played very well, and but I spoke to Ryan after the match. He loves that cue, and he's going to carry on with it, so I wish him all the best with it, really. But yeah, tough day for him, but we've got Mark Williams playing today and Matthew Stevens. Let's see if they can fly the flag for Wales today. Absolutely,
man. You Welsh boys are very, very proud boys, and rightly so. Dominic, touching on your cue for a bit, because you've been switching cues quite a bit recently. Like you just mentioned, you've just got a new cue waiting for another one. Yeah. So what's the story with that at the moment?
Well, back in September, at one of the China events, I met Mike Sharp from Cue Creator, who works a lot with Stuart Bingham. And he's formed this company, Cue Creator, basically, in association with McDermott Cues in Wisconsin. I think it is in America, and they make some of the finest 9-ball pool cues.
Yeah.
And so basically I designed my cue with all these flash inlays, like a 9-ball pool cue, but it's sort of made as a snooker cue. Right. I'm basically having a butt with 2 different shafts with 2 different ferrule diameters.
Wow, with 2 different shafts?
2 different shafts, that will fit the same butts. One's going to be 10.5 mil, one's going to be 10. Right. I might tinker with those and end up sort of one at 9.75 and one at 10, Because I do woodworking and ferruling and tapering, all those things. I've had them made oversized so that I'm pretty much, as long as the shafts are rigid, I can play with them. And I can tinker with the ferrule size to adjust the ball throw and deflection, for these tables accordingly. That's no problem. So hopefully I'll be going over to those. But the cue I've got now is an old Burroughs and Watts Yale Dash cue.
Wow, okay.
It's very flashy cue, it's very old cue.
Bit flashy like yourself, like yourself with those shoes,
don't you? Exactly, yeah. I've only had it 5 days, but I really, really like it. So if the Cue Creators cues don't play, then I've got this one, which I'll definitely stick with. So hopefully my cue swapping days bar the Q Creator queue are over. It's either going to be the Q Creator queue or this queue I'm using now, I can promise.
Now, I know you've got a deep, extensive knowledge of queues, because I know I speak to a lot of the boys on tour, and they always come to you about their queues and tips and whatnot. So I know it's something that you have a massive passion for, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm always putting. Yeah, I have. And you know, most of the players know that I do re-tipping and adjustments. I mean, some of them. Some of the well-known queue makers that have always made queues with certain players, they're a bit low to give the players their own specifications for the queue. So sometimes I've brought measuring gear to tournaments and taken the specifications of their queue so they can be given to other queue makers to make other queues for them. But yeah, it's quite known during tournaments. I put new tips on for players and everything. Sometimes the tip box in the World Snooker office, some of the abrasives, the sandpapers, if you like, are not quite what I want, and the blades aren't very sharp. You have to make do with what I've got. But quite often in tournaments I do bring my own tipping gear anyway, just in case. But I didn't bring it to this one. I'm sort of more here as a media guy as much as a snooker player. So. But yeah, I mean, players. I've just had a look at a couple of tips now. Anthony McGill doesn't quite like his, thinks there's a gap under it. And
I know they all come to me.
And Mark King the same. I've just seen him 10 minutes ago in the tournament office. So, they do come to me, which is nice.
You're always there to help, what you do. That's the main thing.
Yeah, as long as they give me 20 quid, I'm always there to help. Yeah.
Well, forget about the media commitments, mate, because you've got a job to do on the table first, pal. And obviously you're firing off in your second round match tomorrow, pal. What's the rest of the plans today before you fire off tomorrow?
I've just missed my first practice because I'm doing some BBC stuff, but I've rebooked for later on. So I've got 2 practice sessions for later on today, and the schedule hasn't been done for tomorrow yet, so that's going to be done later on this afternoon. So when I've got those, I'll book my practice for tomorrow in accordance with my match time. Cool. I've got the winner of John Astley or Zhang Anda, so chance for one of us to get through to the third round and just see when I'm playing tomorrow. But of course, if I win or lose, I'll be doing TV work no matter what, so I'll be here the whole week.
Absolutely, Dom. Well, look, Dominic, it's been a massive pleasure talking to you as always, pal. Very, very well done against Chris Totten.
Thank you.
And all the very, very best against John Astley or Anders Zhang on Wednesday, pal.
Cheers, Curtis. Thank you.
Cheers, Dominic.